Hello and welcome to Panther Sports Zone. I'm Dorian Waller.
And I'm Caleb Carter.
Starting off today's show, yesterday the Fairview A&M University women's golf team tallied a team score of 1,023 after 3 rounds of play with the fourth place finish in the Cardinal Challenge tournament hosted by Lamar University at the Beaumont County Club Monday and Tuesday. Host team Lamar took the team championship with an overall total of 926. Taylor Harvey posted a top 10 finish, carding 25 over par through the 3 rounds during the 54-hole tournament. She produced rounds of 84 and 79 strokes on Monday before finishing the last round with a 78. Teammates Amon Abraham and Olivia Billups fired a 252 and a 257 respectively, while Shani Waite and Olivia Tolliver rounded out the team scoring with rounds of 280 and 281. The PVAMU women's golf team will prepare for the 2022 SWAC Championship Tournament, which is set to be held through April 18th to April 20th at the Refugee Golf Course in Flowood, Mississippi.
Now we move to baseball. In a doubleheader series, the Prairie View A&M baseball team defeated the visiting Houston Tillerson Rams in both games to improve on a season-best 6-game winning streak. In the first contest, the bats of the Panthers came alive as they scored 15-plus runs for the third time this season onto a 17-4 win, starting with a Christian Mendez double that scored 3 of PV's first runs. Offense continued to roll, putting up a combined 10 runs over 2 innings to give them an early 10-0 edge that put them for the win. The second game proved a tighter matchup as a 2-run first inning by the Panthers was met with 2 runs by the Rams at the top of the second to knot up the game 2-2. A couple of Rams scored in the top of the 4th and 5th to take a 4-2 advantage, but the Panthers wouldn't be denied as they cut the deficit with a Dominic Cox 2-run RBI to left center and once again tie the game. The score held until the bottom of the 7th, where the Kellen Rogers was walked with the bases loaded to bring in a home run and 5-4 win. PV will travel to Lake Charles, Louisiana to match up against the McNeese State Cowboys this Wednesday, April 6th at 6:30 p.m. First pitch under the lights. But as we switch to softball, with more than half the season already gone and 12 SWAC teams, up for grabs, how do you think that the Lady Panthers are best positioned heading into the SWAC tournament?
Well, we talked about this a little bit before we went on air. They were kind of struggling out of conference, but I believe we said that they had a 7-5 record in conference right now. So they do have a winning record, but I would like to see more improvement on their side. There's about 12 games left in the season still. So, I would say they're kind of in the middle of the pack right now. I don't know specifically if they're a playoff team, but I do want to see some improvement.
Right, and just like you said, because I talked to Coach Bland over there at the softball team. I talked to him a lot, and one thing that he always says is that they got a lot of young players. So in baseball, it's a game of continuity. So you're not always going to be clicking on all cylinders like how you would hope to, because with these young players, it's a different game than high school. It's the speed of the game is a lot different. So like you said, the out of conference play is where you're going to find most of your struggles. You're playing against these top-notch teams like the Baylors of the world, right? But when you get in conference, that's where you need to, tighten up.
Yeah, you made a really good point. Some of these SWAC, it's the same thing for every sport. They kind of start off out of conference. SWAC teams tend to struggle out of conference games because, the bigger schools, they usually go for the bigger prospects and everything. So it's kind of a struggle for our SWAC teams, but when it gets into conference, when you're playing people that are sort of, you're expected to defeat and expected to be on your level, that's when you have to tighten up. So I wouldn't harp too much on those start of the out of conference games. What I really want to count is about how they performed in the SWAC division. Excuse me.
Right, and speaking of performance in SWAC, I was able to go to their weekend series against our rival TSU, and sadly they did lose 2 out of those 3 games. But one thing I did notice is that in that third game, they were able to get things turned around, right? Because, it takes a lot out of those players to play, double headers back to back. You don't get much rest. You get a 30-minute break in between games. So that last game coming on Saturday, I believe it was, that's when they got, all the rest that they needed, and they came in with that mindset and executed.
Well, one thing's for sure, we will be supporting our Lady Panthers. But stay tuned. When we come back, we'll talk about our weekly SWAC honors and go into the SWAC West baseball standings. Stay tuned.
STEM is precise, no margin for error.
Dare to forget that. Dare to have fun with it. Get weird with it. Dare to send those old STEM theories flying past the neighbor's house into outer space. Dare to program something internet-breaking, record-breaking. Dare to blow their minds. Dare to learn the difference between sedimentary and metamorphic rock. Go find those rocks. Dare to keep daring. Dare to STEM. Check out She Can STEM to get started.
STEM is precise, no margin for error.
Dare to forget that. Dare to have fun with it. Get weird with it. Dare to send those old STEM theories flying past the neighbor's house into outer space. Dare to program something internet-breaking, record-breaking. Dare to blow their minds. Dare to learn the difference between sedimentary and metamorphic rock. Go find those rocks. Dare to keep daring. Dare to STEM. Check out She Can STEM to get started.
Hello and welcome back to Panther Sports Zone. This week's SWAC baseball honors include Mississippi Valley State's Draylon Holmes and Bethune-Cookman's Luis Liprath, who earned Hitter and Pitcher of the Week. Holmes hit an even .500 over 5 games, driving in 11 RBIs, scoring 9 runs, while hitting 4 home runs, along with 2 doubles and 2 stolen bases. He had a multi-homer game against both Tougaloo and Bethune-Cookman, in which he went for 6 for 9 at bat with 9 runs batted in while scoring 6 times with 3 hits in each of those contests. The pitcher of the week, Liprath, posted another exceptional Friday night start for a critical series opening with win for the Wildcats against Mississippi Valley State. Liprath threw 8 and 1 innings, allowing no earned runs, no 1 hit and a walk, and 7 strikeouts.
Continuing with weekly honors, the SWAC awarded Hitter and Pitcher of the Week to Alabama A&M's Venus Sanders and Bethune-Cookman's Hannah Ortega. Sanders had the best week of her career, slugging 1.400 and posting a 40% on base percentage over the course of 3-game series against Alabama State. She contributed a 2-for-4 day that saw her hit a double and a home run to produce 5 RBIs and a run in a 12-7 Alabama A&M victory. On the mound, Ortega held batters to a 16% batting average in 3-game series against Florida A&M. She allowed 1 earned run in the 18 innings she pitched while striking out 9 batters. So, continuing on with baseball, currently there are 3 teams tied for first in the SWAC. So, how do you think the rest of the season is going to pan out for our men's baseball team?
All right, I mean, you just said it. There's 3 teams at the top of the SWAC list, all with 6-3 records. But I want to take a look at the at their total records, and perhaps it gives a bit of more context, right? Mm-hmm. So PVAMU, they're 6-3 in conference, as we know, but they're 15-15 overall. Grambling is 11-13 overall, and Southern 9-18. So when we look at those overall records, I mean, the story almost tells itself, right? Prairie View is the cream of the crop in the SWAC West. So it's only a matter of time until they begin to separate themselves in that group.
We've had a lot of baseball coverage here in this year's show. You've had some beautiful MMJs about
Thank you.
No problem. You've had some great MMJs about baseball. I've really been tuning in and watching them, and there's a hype buzzing around campus, not only in the studio but around campus about this men's baseball team.
Yeah, man, and rightfully so, because it was said earlier in the show. The baseball team is currently on a 6-game winning streak, folks. I want to say that again to make sure you heard me right. The baseball team is currently on a 6-game winning streak. It doesn't get better than that, because once you get into tournament play, you want to be playing your best baseball, right? You want to know that the guys they're clicking on all cylinders, that the bats are beginning to swing, the pitchers, whether it be the starters, those aces, or those finishers. They're all doing what they need to do, and in the field, you got cats like Benjamin Ybarra, you got Demarie Smith, those guys who just are outstanding in the field, just making all sorts of type of plays. So, like you said, it's rightfully so that there's a buzz on campus about the baseball team.
Yeah, and, I actually really want to catch a couple of these baseball games. I haven't really had the chance. We're very busy here in the studio and with classes. We had midterms a couple weeks back. So don't even get us started about that. But, I feel like this baseball team, they have a potential to go a long way. This is not just me being biased as a Prairie View anchor, but I think, I believe in my Panthers, man. And I think that they have a chance to really, as Caleb said, separate themselves and prove themselves as the cream of the crop.
And you're absolutely right. And just to bring a little more context into that, I mean, when we look at these other teams in the SWAC, right, nobody has really separated themselves from the pack. I mean, you got Alabama State, Bethune-Cookman, and FAMU over in the East doing their thing. But again, their out-of-conference record overall isn't nothing to sneeze at. So, I mean, when we look at Prairie View and what they've been able to do over these recent 6 games, I mean, it's almost we know what Prairie View is capable of and what they could potentially do come tournament season. But coming up next, we're going to bring on one of the members of the women's club basketball team, Tanisha Bloomberg. Stay tuned after the break.
What do an aerospace engineer, cancer immunologist, and bat scientist all have in common? We all have cool jobs in STEM fields. Whether it's building robots or learning to code, girls everywhere are finding their passion for science, technology, engineering, and math through positive role models and mentors. So dare to dive in, get connected, and explore. You never know what your future may hold. Learn more about these and even more cool jobs at shecanstem.com.
STEM is precise, no margin for error.
Dare to forget that. Dare to have fun with it. Get weird with it. Dare to send those old STEM theories flying past the neighbor's house into outer space. Dare to program something internet-breaking, record-breaking. Dare to blow their minds. Dare to learn the difference between sedimentary and metamorphic rock. Go find those rocks. Dare to keep daring. Dare to STEM. Check out She Can STEM to get started.
Hello and welcome back to Panther Sports Zone. Joining us today, we have Tanisha Bloomberg. Excuse me for getting that wrong earlier. I want to make sure we got that right. But Tanisha, just to start us off, first of all, thank you for joining us today.
Thank y'all for having me. Thank you.
No problem. And just to start us off, tell us a little bit about yourself and what made you join the intramural team.
Absolutely. Well, my name is Tanisha Bloomberg. I am a senior mechanical engineer major here at PV.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I have a double minor in supply chain management and mathematics.
Oh, wow.
Right?
Gulfport, Mississippi.
Give you a hand of applause
Thank
out there. That's a lot.
Thank you. Yes. I am from Gulfport, Mississippi, and it's really not much to do out there, so I grew up playing sports. I have a love for sports, so when I had the opportunity to play basketball again, I had to go for it.
Right.
Had to.
And so when did you start playing basketball exactly?
I started playing ball around 5, 6 years old. I was very young.
So you fell in love with it almost instantly?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Right, and to go along with that, because we talked about it a little bit off camera. You're a senior here, and the intramural team got released because of some revenue issues and COVID during 2019.
Absolutely.
But you said that you had to jump into it as soon as they came back to campus. So what is it that made you want to join the team and just get your feet out there?
I was really invited to come to tryouts by a friend.
Okay.
Because the boys team initially had started it, had brought it back, and then, they had to bring the girls back.
Right.
Bring the boys back. It's only right to bring the girls back, so that's how that happened.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I know we just talked about the team being kind of disbanded in 2019,
Yeah.
but I know y'all have aspirations for nationals this year.
Absolutely.
So what are your thoughts about that?
I'm super excited for nationals. The girls have always went to nationals, but they never made it past the first round. But I'm very confident in my teammates and myself, and I think we're gonna bring back the championship.
Okay. Now, when we talk about the intramural team, right? It's something that everybody may not have their eye on, right? Because we always think about, when we think about sports, we think about the school teams, right? We think about the basketball team, the football team, but how is it, playing for the intramural team and receiving that support? Because I've been to the games, and you guys do have some nice crowds. So how is it, seeing that?
We absolutely do appreciate the fan base that does come, because like you said, especially with being a women's team, you don't see a lot of people filling the crowds, especially for any sports or anything like that. So having the fan base that we have to come see us, it's nice. I feel like it's a pretty good crowd. We'd love to see it grow. We'd always love to see it grow. But.
So y'all have a game coming up, Texas Southern. I am kind of technically a second-generation Prairie View A&M student. My father went here. And so that rivalry, Texas Southern versus Prairie View, it's been here. It's intense. It's been here for a long time. So can you give us a couple of your thoughts on that game coming up?
Absolutely. So we just played that game this past Sunday.
Oh, okay.
Yes, sir. No, it's fine. Absolutely. We just played that game this past Sunday, and that was the playoffs for the entry into the championship, and we won. Yes, we won. So it was awesome. It's always that hype between PV and TSU, so we had to. Yeah.
So I mean, but because we know that TSU isn't the only competition that you guys have. You guys compete against these other intramural teams, say like Lone Star, I believe, and other teams that's just slipping my mind right now. But how is it competing against these teams who you may not have expected?
Absolutely. So yes, we did have the opportunity to play against Lone Star College and Rice University, and of course TSU this past season. We really, and when I say really, I'm speaking about my teammates and I, but we go into every game as if we're playing TSU, as if we're playing whoever. We are always going to play our hardest to the best of our abilities.
Okay.
That leads to winning basketball for sure. So I've seen a couple of y'all's practices. I'll be in the rec center sometimes, and I'll kind of sit down and watch y'all's practices. Can you take me through the process of y'all's practices, the intensity of it?
Absolutely. So usually we have practice held on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 7 to 9. We usually take that first hour to work on fundamentals, so we'll do layups, jump shots, anything like that. And then we usually use the second half to go through our plays of where we're going to run offensive and defensively.
Right, and I want to talk a little bit about, because you're not only an athlete, as we know, as you just said, your major was mechanical engineering. Mechanical engineering. Let me tell you, because I have a friend of mine who's that same major, and
Perfect.
I send my prayers to you guys for all the work that you have to do. But I mean, how is it that you manage, being a mechanical engineer, being an intramural basketball player, and not only that, you're in the legendary House of Vision.
Yes,
so how is it that you juggle all of that?
It's beautiful. Like, literally right after this, I'm going to practice for the house because we have a show that's coming up tomorrow, April 7th, and then I have basketball practice right after that. So it's all about, it can be done. It's time management and discipline.
Right.
That's the two biggest things.
Right, and just a quick follow-up, because the House of Vision is a modeling troop.
Yes, sir.
And you also play for the basketball team.
Yes, sir.
I know it can be a little tough, right? Because absolutely. I know you gotta look your best for the troop, but also you gotta maintain certain guidelines for the basketball team. So how is that?
It's fun, man. Like, just the biggest thing that I would say is just the practices, getting to practice on time. I may have to be a little 30 minutes late to practice due to basketball practice, due to going over anything with the house. But my teammates and my coaches, they all know that I'm coming. I may come in with my heels on from practice, but I'm going to be there.
Right.
So it's just all about balancing. Yes, sir.
So to kind of finish off my set of questions, both the men's and women's intramural teams for basketball have been doing absolutely great this season. I want to congratulate you guys.
Thank you.
So is there a little bit of a rivalry between you and the men's team? Do y'all guys talk a little trash? Because I know y'all both practice at the same time.
You know what? It's all love. However, we are both undefeated. I would love to see a game between the girls and the boys team.
Okay, I would love to see that myself.
I'll have to follow up on that. So there was a little March Madness tournament for both the men's and women's teams. I saw both teams kind of warming up. So were y'all going to play against each other at all? Because that would have been the perfect opportunity.
That was the plan. We were planning on doing that. Hopefully we'll have a chance to do that in the future. But basically, we just we did like drills, like games and such like that. So dribbling drills, shooting drills like that with the boys and girls team, and let other people come in, like the practice team for the boys. So
that's really cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Okay, so seeing as you guys are undefeated, and we all know that you have national aspirations, so tell us a little bit about the game plan heading into nationals.
So the game plan headed into nationals is to win. That's
Right.
that's the goal. So offensively and defensively, I feel like we're pretty sound and structured in that, and we just have to apply what we've been doing this whole season. We've been in season since January, February, so just carrying it out, finishing strong. That's really the biggest thing.
Right, and real quick, because to speak on finishing strong, this is your senior year. I'm not sure if you plan on doing anything past senior, like maybe graduate school or anything like that, but how we want to go out on a good note, but tell us a little bit about maybe your favorite memory being here at PV so far.
I have so many. I'll just speak from freshman year, Panther camp. I feel like that's really important for any incoming freshman for Prairie View.
I'm jealous.
Never got the chance.
I'm
either.
so sorry, because that really was like the foundation of a bunch of beautiful memories that I have created here at Prairie View. So I'm gonna have to go with Panther camp just the whole week.
Right.
The whole week.
Can I ask your favorite basketball memory?
My favorite basketball memory, just in practice, being with my teammates. They so funny. They're so funny. Like, and if we're just playing, like when we're scrimmaging, that's my favorite time, playing against them. You know, we talking a little mess back and forth, and whoever loses has to run. So.
Oh man.
Yeah. So that just
y'all hard
scrimmaging.
on each other out
Oh,
there.
absolutely. But
Nobody
it's
ever
all
wants
love,
to
tough love.
Right.
Tough love.
Right. Well, I mean, I think that's it for me. Dorian, you have anything?
I think I'm good as well. Thank you.
Thank y'all.
But real quick before we end, because I know you're involved in so many things. So is there anything that you want to say to the people at home watching about anything to look forward to?
Man, look forward to us bringing that championship back, and thank y'all for tuning in.
All right. and we thank you for joining us. I mean, it was really a pleasure talking to you.
Absolutely. Thank y'all.
And that'll be it for Panther Sports Zone. Make sure you tune in every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 5:30 p.m. Once again, I'm Caleb Carter.
And I'm Dorian Waller.
We're signing out.